Hey guys, Zach here. I know it's called football. Let's get started and talk about that win. It was fantastic. Huge win. It just means so much, man. Going above Spurs is one thing. It's not the end of the season, nowhere near. There's plenty more games to play. Plenty of reason to shut up all the just the bullshit that you heard. Arsenal bottom, Tottenham top. Once again, just people love to see Arsenal down, and it was so great to see that win, and what it means to the fans, what it means to the players. That performance, man. Honestly, like I think maybe the Valencia win in the Europa League when we came back from behind. You remember that Aubameyang hat trick, another brilliant performance. But I think more so reminiscent of that Manchester United win that we had under Arsene Wenger. I think is last year maybe that 3-0 win, just the Ozil Sanchez show. It was brilliant. I mean, Tottenham couldn't touch Arsenal from the get go. As soon as the whistle was blown, Tottenham had the ball and they tried to play that. I think it was Sanchez tried to play that ball out wide and just immediately, Granit Xhaka's first touch was winning the ball back and comfortably. I mean, you could tell from there. I mean, no one was even near that ball. Um, he fit, and from there it just my prediction, if anyone has watched, probably nobody has. Let's be honest. But my previous video, I had predicted a 3-0 win for Arsenal. I just thought the stars are aligning, man. They have lost their last two games by 3-0. Arsenal coming off of some pretty good form, 3 clean sheets. We scored quite a few goals. Perhaps not in the Premier League. Obviously, the two 1-0 victories, but that's what I said. 3-0. It sounded a bit silly, but it just seemed, you know, I mean, I'm not a betting man, but perhaps I should consider that because look, for me that Spurs goal didn't count. So if you ask me, doesn't count in my book. Book of facts, book of truth. So fuck them. 3-0 victory for Arsenal. That's the way I'm going to say it. Could care less. Shouldn't have conceded. It seemed like a bit of a lapse of, I think it was Tomiyasu and Saka both thought that they were going to, one or the other were tracking, I think it was Regulon maybe. He fed that ball into Son. And look, Son's a brilliant player, fantastic player. The fact that he got that one shot on target during that breakaway. Ramsdale made a great save. Obviously I'll talk about Ramsdale a bit later on. In the video. Um, Son looked a threat, really the only threat that they had until I think Brian Hill came on. I thought Oliver Skip did quite well when he came on as well and sort of changed the game, and that's what you expect substitutes to do. But Mikel Arteta stuck to his game plan, and it worked perfectly. Spurs thought they could sit back and maybe hit us on the counter. I'm not quite sure what the game plan was. It seemed like the players just weren't. I mean, first of all, they weren't up for it. They weren't fighting for anything really. Arsenal were doing everything. They were counterattacking. They were pressing. They were holding possession and I mean we know Arteta likes to play out from the back, and yeah, we did it, but we weren't pressured into doing it. We were so comfortable in the midfield, and I think a lot of credit has to go to Granit Xhaka, of course, Thomas Partey, more so. Obviously, that's the guy pulling all the strings, but he just complements any midfield pairings so well. I thought Granit. Credit to him. Like I said, he did have a good game. I think he won't get the credit he deserves for that build up for the first goal. Won the ball back, a little toe poke, and Odegaard was off and away, and it was just brilliant. Dude, it was. I mean, I was going insane watching the game with my brother and my girlfriend out there. I was losing my mind, and once that second goal went in, I looked at my girlfriend. I just said, remember my prediction? I said 3-0. That third goal went in, and I just lost it. I was screaming. I was going crazy. Giving my neighbors a little bit back from the stomping that their kids do and running around the freaking apartment. Anyway, just ranting a bit here. Look, I spoke about confidence and what it'll do for the team. Surely it will give the team confidence. This is obviously Arsenal's best starting 11. My cat's scratching at the door. Obviously, this is Arsenal's best starting team, starting 11 rather. You have Aubameyang seems to be completely back on form. Damn it. Well, that was unexpected. Excuse me. No one's probably gonna notice this because I'm not watching the video anyway. Aubameyang, back on form, looked completely fired up. Bukayo Saka, obviously, a bit, not at his strength. Not at 100%, and maybe that was a bit of, knocking off not a great preseason. Didn't have a full preseason. Maybe he had to sort of shed everything from the Euros. Obviously, that was pretty hard on him, you have to say. But look, he's a young kid. He's professional. He's got a lot of teammates. All his teammates are surely supporting him. And just look at him. I mean, look at the game he had, the desire he had for that third goal to score. And again, I said this before. You have to give credit to Harry Kane. Again, that's a player I'll speak about a bit later on. Also, VAR. I'll touch on that, and perhaps we got a little lucky. Some lapse of defensive judgment and things of that sort. But look, the fight was there. I mean, Arsenal deserved this win. Could have had another. I thought maybe we should have had a penalty. Again, it's something I'll talk about a bit later on. About VAR and decisions that didn't go our way, didn't go Spurs' way, surely. So a bit strange, but look, deserved win. My prediction technically is right. Like I said, that goal they scored doesn't count in my book. If Ramsdale would have saved that, I mean, Jesus, man, the guy already had a great game. Didn't have much to do, but the save later on he made against Kane, I thought it was funny. Tomiyasu is a very composed individual. He has this very, I was born in Japan. I lived in Japan for a couple of years. I spent almost 8 years in Taiwan. I've been surrounded by Asian culture like my whole life, basically. And Tomiyasu he reminds me of my friend Brian from when I was in middle school and high school, who's from Japan. Very calm, composed. When Ramsdale made that save and Tomiyasu cleared it, Ramsdale has this he's very, I don't know how to put it, just English. Loves it. That's what we want to see from a goalkeeper. You see it from Gabriel as well a lot. Not so much Ben White, but when Gabriel makes a clearance, you see that a lot from him. Sort of like scoring a goal at the other side. You make a great tackle, a great challenge, or a great save, and you get up and celebrate. He went over to Tomiyasu and gave him like a high five, and it was almost awkward because the level wasn't quite the same. Tomiyasu was here saying, this is just my job. Like he's such a calm, composed guy. He knows his job. Don't let them score. This is the ball. Win it. Don't be beaten. And again, I'll talk a bit about Tomiyasu a bit later in the video in terms of his stats and his man of the match performance, in my opinion. He gets up, high fives him, screams, and Tomiyasu had to say, "Oh, right." It was just funny to see. It just reminded me a bit of my friend Brian. So that was kind of funny to see. I saw it again in the highlights when I watched them before I made this video. So yeah, man, all around super happy. What a performance! What a performance from the players. So let's just talk about the players themselves. We'll start with Ramsdale. Like I was just saying, he had a great game. A couple big saves. The save from Son. I think after we had scored, they had a little breakaway. I mean, it was on target. You had to make that save. I mean, we've seen goals before. Just a striker can just smash it over the goalkeeper's head. The save he made, it was like, I mean, the ball was hit at him so fast. It was just, that's an instinctive save. Credit to Ramsdale, the save from Harry Kane that I was just speaking about. That was going in, and my God, the save from Lucas Moura. The first I saw it, I thought it was going well over, but the dip it got from the slight deflection from Maitland-Niles. I mean, that has to be one of the saves of the season so far, if not the save of the season. The way he moved, I mean, perhaps it's a bit cliche to say that he jumped like a cat but the way his body maneuvered, the footwork that he had. When I played goalkeeper, I think a lot of why because I had never played football before. I'd never played soccer before I came to college. I came to the States, fell in love with it, fell in love with Arsenal, everything. And I have a history of rugby. I think I've talked about this before. I figured, let me use my hands. There's no way I play any football trying to play in the midfield or using my feet. Tried out for a goalkeeper position, and I stepped right onto that team. And a lot of it was footwork. Footwork I learned from rugby. Footwork I learned from playing American football when I was younger. And the footwork, it was perfect. And I'm sure credit goes to the goalkeeping coaches and but just Aaron Ramsdale alone, man, the way he contorted his body and any save that goes off a post, you know that it was just a fingertip save, or every single inch and effort went into making a save like that. So I mean, that's got to be a save of the season for me. And that save, maybe not that save alone, but that save is what gave us the goal difference to put us ahead of Tottenham, which again doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. But Arsenal fans, we're used to finishing above Tottenham. We don't need that trophy. Tottenham, they can have it. They've had it the last couple seasons. You ask Arsenal fans, we prefer the real silverware, stuff that the Spurs fans and players most likely won't see for quite a while. So, let's talk about Tomiyasu. I think voted man of the match actually by Arsenal fans on the Arsenal website. He was my man of the match. There was a lot of contenders. I thought even Gabriel might have been up there. Obviously, Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka could have been a contender as well. I think Emile Smith-Rowe, did actually win Sky Sports Man of the Match, or I'm not quite sure what it is, but I think he did win Man of the Match. Even Odegaard, man. I mean, Odegaard had a brilliant game as well. But let's talk about the defense. Gabriel and White, another solid performance. Those two are complementing each other really, really well, and we didn't see all that passing back and forth that we saw against Burnley, where you saw Burnley kind of just going back and forth. They're keeping their shape, and White and Gabriel are kind of just going back and forth, and it found it really hard to break that Burnley side down. And here it was just completely different. Credit to the manager and I'll talk a bit later about this Spurs side, and obviously they're hurting, and it's not the best Spurs side. Which is funny because first 3 games people were thinking, oh, here we go, they're running away with it, and I think the first season under Mourinho they thought the same, and it's just all bullshit. It's just so tiring having to hear the same old story about Tottenham and Arsenal, and everything is shifting, and North London is this, and it's just boring. It's agitating, and it's never going to be like that. And the sooner people realize that, the better. But it gets clicks. It gets talked about. The whole Big Six thing is ridiculous. I think it just really, really pedals to Spurs and makes them feel better. But, whatever. I'm ranting again. Tierney, a bit more quiet today. He has been a little quiet in terms of just performances. And not saying he's not playing well, because he's playing well, absolutely. But I think more so it speaks to how well the other 3 are playing in that back 4. Tomiyasu obviously has been just. I can't believe this guy has been so good. I forgot to read these stats here. Excuse me. He had the most touches, 67 during the game, and the most ball recoveries of 8. And I'm not sure about aerial battles and everything that other things that he won, but I mean, he was just a wall. You couldn't get by him, and in fact, he's yet to be dribbled past in any game that he's played. And if someone was going to do it, you would think it'd be a player like Son, just a brilliant player, quick. Walks into any team in the Premier League, in my opinion. So again, it's so solid. And Tierney, I think, like I said, it says a lot about these other players, that he's still bombing forward, and that ball he played to Aubameyang, flicked it to Emile Smith-Rowe for that second goal. He's there in the build-up. He's not underperforming. He's not having bad games, but he's just doing these simple things that you need. That Tomiyasu, in my opinion, I had a tweet about this. A lot of people seem to agree with. He just does the basics. He's not flashy. He's not doing anything crazy. Here's the ball. I have to win it. He wins it, and you love to see that. That's what you want to see. I mean, every tackle, that the Arsenal players made yesterday, you just heard the crowd, the applause. And man, I'm so jealous of people that get to go to these games. I'm sitting on my couch, in a different country, and I've yet to be to a game, and it's something that I can't wait to do one of these days. Just go to a game and support it, this team and this football team in person. And the fans are just so brilliant, and I think without the fans, you would have maybe seen a bit of a different game. They were so loud and supportive from the very, very start of the game. So all credit to them, man. These fans deserve so much more than we've seen, these past couple years. And look, all credit to them, man. I tip my hat to every fan who goes and to every fan who has been going. I envy it. I'm jealous, and I'm super thankful that they're there, showing up and supporting the team. Now let's talk about the midfield. Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey obviously started. Xhaka was a bit of a not a shock or surprise, but I think when he came out for the pre-match, obviously you knew he was starting. I saw a tweet from Charles Watts. So you knew that he was starting. And look, he had a very, very good game. He did. Came off injured, really, really awkward injury. Pretty unlucky, like I said, to have conceded from that, because you kind of saw that maybe Granit Xhaka would have been marking Son. Thomas Partey kind of a bit late back. And again, Saka and Tomiyasu a bit confused as to who was getting who. And look, whatever. They scored a goal. It is what it is, man. But Thomas Partey, I thought, the difference this guy makes is incredible. And he'll compliment anyone. Sambi Lokonga came in there later on. Maitland-Niles came to shore things up as well. And, having players like that, it's just so refreshing to see, man. He was everywhere. The way he turns when he gets the ball, the first touch, is he just takes the ball with him. So he'll drag it, turn his body and drag it, and just space will just open up. He'll turn away from a different player, a Spurs player, for example, and he just has the whole field to play to, and he's just so smooth with it. Had a great game. Granit Xhaka had a great game. I hope the injury's not too bad. I spoke about in my previous video about how I didn't think he would just come back into the side. Although I said I wouldn't be shocked, I didn't think he would. But he did. He had a great game, and I still think, unfortunately, it might be just a matter of time until he makes another silly move or does something, that's not, it's hard to say, but I just want to praise him now. Granit Xhaka, a player I like. I wore his jersey yesterday during the game, but those two had another great game. Those front three with Aubameyang up top, Bukayo Saka, I thought could have been man of the match. Great goal, great assist. I think him and Emil Smith-Rowe actually a goal and an assist. So there's Haaland winning the North London derby, man, and these number 10 and number 7 coming through the academy, making a difference. It's incredible to see. He had a great game. He seems to be back on form. Odegaard changed the whole game. The whole game he made a difference, rather, I should say. He was brilliant, man. It's finding the lines. Just like Partey, every first touch, and he was off. Very deceptive when he gets the ball. His passes are not very telegraphed. You don't quite know where he's going to go with the ball, and he's just smooth, man. He just fits in this team so well. Emil Smith-Rowe as well. The sprint that he made for that Aubameyang goal, after the game, they were talking. They had a press conference together, and Aubameyang was saying he knows he's going to run. He's going to make that run, and it was just perfect. It was just perfect. Aubameyang, I thought, led the line well. The goal he scored, everything, man, everything about the game. I can't. It's so hard not to go into a rant. The video is it's 20 minutes already. I should probably wrap things up, as they say. But it was just perfect, man. It was just perfect. It's a side that looks really strong without Pepe. Pepe for me, he's a great player. He can come on and make a difference, but I think Saka just offers more for the team. In my opinion, he's a bit more shored up when it comes to his touch, when it comes to dribbling, and I don't think you would have seen Pepe with that determination and that drive to score the goal, because Harry Kane came back and he could have easily thrown his arms up, Bisaka, and said, "Oh, what a tackle!" But he kept running, and there was the ball, and boom, he had to finish it from there. And yeah, it was just fantastic. Arsenal fans singing Mikel Arteta's name when he came across for his interview was great to see as well. I'm sure that means the world to him. So that's great. But let me just wrap things up here and say, let's not get too crazy. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It was a Spurs side that's kind of infected with this Kane virus. I was so public that he wanted to leave. This huge money offer comes in from City. It's turned down. He misses a couple training sessions, misses the first game, I think, maybe first 2 games, and here he is, still hasn't scored a goal this season in the Premier League at least. And I mean, he could have had 2 goals. The header he put wide, and I think maybe the one where he was clean through and chipped over Ramsdale that went wide. I think he might have been offsides, but I just want to talk about VAR here for a second because I think we both should have had a penalty. I thought Sanchez, maybe didn't shove Gabriel over, but was clearly impeding him and preventing him from playing that ball. And so I thought that could have been given. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at the penalty we given away against the Wolves last season. I think Chris Kavanaugh was just a referee. I think it was the same referee who gave that. So the inconsistency is just, it's not there, And speaking of VAR, this is coming from an Arsenal fan, obviously. I thought Spurs should have had a penalty. Ben White missed the ball, got Harry Kane, and he fouled him in the box. So I don't know how VAR hasn't looked at it. I don't know how. I mean, how can you? Again, this is not beneficial for us as Arsenal fans. But they should have had a penalty. It was clear to me, unless I really missed something, unless he got the ball. I'm 100% sure it was in the box. So how can VAR see that and not say, "Oh, you should have a look at this"? Or I mean, it's the inconsistency that's gonna kill us because this can come back and now bite Arsenal in the ass, where there's going to be a clear foul or clear penalty or something, handball, whatever it might be, and VAR is not going to look at it. And so it's a problem for every Premier League team. It's not just laughing that the Spurs didn't get a penalty and they did. It's not about that. You should be able to say as just a football fan in general that there needs to be consistency with this technology and it's not there. So it's going to come back around and bite other teams in the ass. Obviously, it's come against Arsenal before, and I don't understand that at all. I don't understand it at all. I think we probably would have won the game anyway, but it's about being fair. It's about the right decision, and that's not the right decision. It was just so strange to me. I don't get it. I don't know why VAR wasn't used. I thought Granit Xhaka should have been booked also. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but maybe the referee himself couldn't get a hold of the game. But I thought it was a clear-cut penalty, and even for even Arsenal, we should have had a penalty as well. I think it would have been a bit soft, but you never know. Could have been given. All right, well that's about it, guys. That'll sum it up. Again, I can't say enough how proud of this team I am, and again, the fans. All credit to the fans that were screaming and cheering the whole game. We have to build from here. We have Brighton next. They play in a couple hours. They could be top of the league, Brighton. So they're having a great season so far. We'll see. How they fare against Crystal Palace. We then have Crystal Palace next, and then Aston Villa. The team that just beat Man United. Say what you want about United, and maybe they're struggling a little bit, but look, Villa are a pretty decent side. They started a bit shaky as well, but certainly a team that's going to scrape and that's going to fight for a win. We know that for sure. Obviously, they had us beat last season. They got 6 points from us, so. Yeah, this was a pretty long one, guys. If you have made it this far or at least clicked around or watched a little bit, I really, really appreciate it. I love doing these videos. It's fun. I'm not after anything crazy. I'm just here to talk and I'm talking to myself. And I always say on Twitter, I'd love for people to join me and whatever style it might be, talk for 10 minutes or have a rant for an hour. I'd love to talk to anybody, Arsenal fan or whoever they might be, and just talk football. So thanks very much, guys, for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.